to see everybody on the call. Mike Papas,
Good
Leo,
morning.
San Martin, Blanca, Angie, good to see you. Diana, Melissa's back again. Cristina, Veronica. All right, guys. Today we have my friend John. John, are you ready to jump into this thing? I know you have a lot of good information for us.
For sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity. I think what I'll do is I'll share my screen, and what we're going to talk about today, guys, is just farming, right? And looking for those next sellers and those next people that we can have those conversations with to be able to talk about real estate and bring them into our portfolio and our client stable and hopefully be able to do a deal with them, right? Especially now that inventory is so low. So I think what I'll do, if it's okay, is I'll show you guys three different programs with and kind of overview on the information that these programs can provide you, right? And then we can dive into it a little bit deeper, maybe more one-on-one or in a group setting moving forward to be able to pull you guys some information. So one of the programs I'll talk to you about is WFG Flash Farms. That is a program that I can sign everybody up on. Kind of a typical title company farming tool, does profiles obviously, and then it'll get into farm management. I like the farm management because it goes into detail in your farm, and I'll kind of show you what that looks like. And then I'll talk to you guys about a couple other programs, right? One that you can really niche down and really target who you're going after. And then another one that will just basically give you better probably for radius farming and prospecting around a just sold, just listing, or a specific neighborhood, because it will provide you with some different stuff like emails and phone numbers, cell phones, things like that. So if you want to do email campaigns or text
Yeah.
campaigns or make some phone calls, things like that. So if that's cool with you, that's
Yeah.
what we'll go over today.
Yeah, John. So here's the thing, guys. In the real estate industry, it's a numbers game, right? We have to make a certain number of contacts to turn over a certain number of leads, to turn a certain over number of transactions. It's always been a numbers game. Now that the market has shifted like dramatically in these last 6 months, give or take, we have to go after those listings. And it's true that if you list, you last. Agents that have the listings control a little bit more of their business because you can always advertise that property. And what John's going to show us here is how to get in front of certain people that are already kind of with the algorithms that exist out there with their companies. They can give us an idea of who's going to be the next person to most likely make a move. I know there's stuff out there like divorces. They have too many kids, not enough kids for that size of home, and that'll trigger, hey, this is a property you want to keep an eye on. So with this stuff being said, guys, here's something else to keep in mind. A farm can be as small as 5 or 10 properties, and if you have 5 or 10 properties, you can market to those properties as much as you want, super efficient. So keep that in mind. If you want to market or have a farm where you can really market to them, that's going to be too big. You're not going to hit them efficiently. You're not going to be there as much as you should to where you're going to get something out of it. So keep that in mind, and let's work on a farm that's manageable. John, I don't know if you can help us with those numbers, whether it's
Sure.
200, 300. I mean, if you can manage 10,000, addresses and hit them effectively to where you're actually turning them over, by all means, go for it. But just keep that in mind as we get going with this. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right, Roberto. And I mean, we talked about this before, right? There's so many times I meet with a lot of agents and they're coming in, they're like, oh, I want to do 500, 600, I want to do 1,000 records, right? And that's a big number. And so I'm always a big proponent of trying different things in small batches and seeing what works for you, because you might think that, hey, mailing might work for you, or hey, maybe emailing might work for me, or hey, maybe calling might work for you. And after you do it, maybe you find that there's another avenue that really brings a little bit more success to you, right? And so I'm always a big proponent of finding what works for you and then replicate it and doing it over and over again. So
Yeah.
I'll start, if it's okay, can I share my screen, Roberto? Is that cool?
Absolutely. Yeah, I believe I
Okay,
opened it up
right
already.
on, right on. I see Maria Estrada on here. Maria, how you doing? Let me see, let me share. Okay, I think I'll turn my camera off. It'll be easier for this thing to kind of go. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, you're good.
Cool.
the flash
So
forms.
this is a program that I could sign anybody and everybody up with, and then we can dive into it individually and really tailor it to what your needs are. But I'm going to go over some of the key points and features of it. It's WFG Flash Farms. It's our farming tool, also our profile tool. Obviously, it'll pull property profiles, recorded documents, and things like that. But what I like to do in here, and a couple different reasons why I like this program. If you click on Farm Manager, I have some saved farms, but what we're going to do is we're going to go in and just kind of create a new farm. A couple ways that I really like this program are for the polygon and the subdivision by map. Polygon's pretty self-explanatory. I can come in here, I can put a city, right? If I just put series, find addresses, it's going to pop up series. If you notice up here, it gives you the map and the satellite. It's always easier for me to use the satellite and kind of have an idea where I'm at. And at this point on this, it's ready to start accumulating your properties and building your polygon. So for this purpose, let's just say I'm going to do this area right here. Once we go around and pop it back in, it's going to calculate, give you the number of properties, single family, and give you that turnover rate for the last year, right? That's a low one, 1.38, right? If it was a bigger one, a 6.5, something like that, turnover rate. I know you listen to Buffini, you listen to, Mike and Tom Ferry, they say you want it to be between 6 and 8. That's going to be hard now because market has changed, right? Inventory's low. There's not quite as much activity. If we would have been doing this a year ago, you'd have them in the 8s, 9s, 10s, etc., right? And have a plethora of places to choose. So if that would be an area that we wanted to market, we would just continue build our farm from there and then be able to pull information off of that. The other way I really like to pull farms on this is if you come in here and we search it by map. And when we go search by map, it's going to ask us what turnover rate we want. But if we just want to see the whole city, and let's just use series again, right? We go in, we do series California. We're not looking for a specific turnover rate, and we hit continue and reload. It's going to put a color-coded map there on series, and it's going to let us look at different subdivisions, right? So instead of creating our own polygon, they've already done it for us based upon subdivision. And if I click on it, you notice it gives us, right, Valley Estates right there, 87 homes, 6.90 turnover rate in the last year. Not bad, right? Well, we could click on another one, not quite as big. Single family, 280, 1.07 turnover. Not the greatest, right? But if we wanted to look at all of series here, if you notice we're in the map view, if we were just to click on list view, what that's going to do is it's going to pull up every subdivision in series. And it's going to tell you how many properties there are, how many single family homes there are, what's that turnover rate, right? So if you indeed did want to do some marketing by subdivision, you could come in here and pull it this way, right? Which is very, very good information so that you have a pretty good idea on the activity in there, right? If you want to pick one of these areas, create the farm, very simple. It'll load it right into your farm manager. Sometimes that takes a couple minutes, so I'll spare us with that dead time here on this call. I'll just go back to my farm manager and let's pick one and I'll show you kind of what the information looks like, right? So let's come in here and let's just do Raider Estates there in series. If you look at that, once you pull the farm, this is exactly what you're going to see. And it's going to show you only 10 records on a sheet, right? Unfortunately, but you can scroll through. Gives you an idea of how many phone numbers and emails that they have. You are available to purchase that at the drop of a hat on this. But the other cool thing about it is up here, these are all free things within the program that you can do. So obviously the complete farm, recent buyers within 2 years, out-of-state owners, absentee owners, right? So on and so forth. New homeowners, that's within the last year. Stay years, you can put that, right? Because we all know that a lot of the inventory created, or at least from my perspective, honestly, a lot of the single family homes that I see being sold are that baby boomer generation, right? Those people that are 60 plus that have lived in their house, 15, 20 years. Perhaps it's a 2-story home. Perhaps it's 60, 70% equity that they have. Maybe they're coming up on retirement. Maybe they've retired. Maybe they're equity rich and maybe a little bit cash poor with pension or 401k or whatever it is. Those are the people that want to sell, either move down, move out, buy an RV, buy a townhouse, whatever their goals are in life, right? Those are the people that you kind of see cashing out, taking that equity and moving it to other places. Hot movers. This is an AI generated list from this company. They take 27 data points, including people that just go on Zillow, realtor.com, etc., looking at homes. 27 data points to be able to go on there and identify who's most likely to move within the next 2 years out of that farm. And as you can see, I think out of the 480 something people, they have 74 identified. And they say that it's a 74% accuracy that these people will sell within 2 years. So even if you do pick a big farm and you just go after the hot movers, or just all the hot movers in, subdivision, zip code, city, things like that, you're onto something pretty smart, right? Because the numbers tell us that those people are probably the most likely to sell. In addition to that, as you get down here and I scroll down, there is a paid side to this, right? And I think I sent you the price points, right, Roberto? I can send them to everybody if they want, but it's something like $39, $49, $59, depending on the tier and the number of leads that you want to get. But notice of defaults, notice that trustee sales and phone numbers are part of one data package. Another one would be emails, and then life events, right? People with life events end up selling their property. So marriages, births, divorce, and death, right? Probates. And then it'll go into and do expireds, potential flippers, people with equity, things like that. A couple of things on this list that are paid that I can help you with maybe outside of this program. Notice of defaults, obviously trustee sales, that's information that I get that I can show you here in a little bit. And then also people with equity. I do have the capability to be able to kind of toggle some information and come up with people with equity and some other demographic information that I'll be able to show you. But coming in on this program is really, really good, just to be able to identify a turnover rate in a specific area or a specific polygon area around either a subdivision or a listing that you might have and come in. So it's really, really good. Another nice feature up here, equity, that is a paid, so that's not going to work for us right now. But if we go in here and just hit, people that are out of state, is there any? It's going to take a second and kind of wind it and come through. There may not be. I might have picked a terrible example. And
hey, John, while we wait for it to load, I have a question for you that
yes,
some
sir.
of the agents on here might have for us here.
Yeah.
When we're creating a farm, one of the things that I would hate to do is to knock on somebody's door that's an agent. And I know that back in the day, there used to be, I don't know what title company it was, but they had a way to identify if an address belonged to a real estate licensed person, a real estate agent. Is that a thing still, or doesn't matter? I know it kind of doesn't matter at times, but is that a thing?
Yeah, on this program, it's not. On the next one I'm going to show you, or the third one I'm going to show you, which is Property Radar, it does identify realtors because it does identify occupations and stuff, but no, typically not. When you're looking at just raw data from the 2 or 3 major companies that provide that to either customer service or sites like WFG Flash Farms here, it does not identify agents, unfortunately. That's a great question.
All right.
So we're here looking at the hot movers. So once we get the farm that we want, right? So there's 400. Let's say we get down to the 74 in the hot movers. And let's say we want to do something with that. The other cool thing about this program is you can place a Facebook or Instagram ad right from here to these people, right? So you can click on this. We're going to place a Facebook, Instagram ad. I don't think I have my Facebook set up on here, so it's not going to go, but I'll show it to you through here. English or Spanish, they have templates already ready for us, right? So just listed, just sold, what's your home worth, real estate reports, open house, things like that, right? So you can come through and let's say we're going to do an open house. You can modify the verbiage on here, as you notice up here, right? So you can modify it, put some words in there, change it up for you. And then once you're all ready, come down here and pay right through the program, and it will send out that ad on your behalf to Facebook or Instagram. And as you can tell, for 10 days, it's $75. 20 days, 150. You can do the start date, and then boom, choose your audience, upload your form, and get it sent out. That it's a really, really powerful tool. It's extremely accurate, and I've had agents have tremendous success using it. And I would recommend that if you're gonna do an ad, to at least do it 20 days, because it will give you the feedback and show you how many people have clicked on it and give you the overall stats on that as well. So it's really, really a great feature.
And you can change the image on here however you market
cannot
yourself.
change this. Yeah, you cannot. You can only change the image to other templates that they already have. So like these ones right here, right? Or it's going to have to fit you. It will upload yours, but it's going to have to fit the correct size and everything, and sometimes can be a nightmare, but I can get those specifications for you. That's not a problem.
Yeah, if somebody wants to do this, let me know. I have somebody that can modify an image to the size if we need to, so we can try it
Cool.
out. I think this is very interesting, especially since it's kind of a click and play, right? We just
That's it. That's
in
it.
there
I
and
mean,
go.
yeah, super fast, super efficient. I mean, just boom, boom. I mean, when I saw it, to be honest with you, when they were demoing this before I brought it on to WFG, I was like, man, there's no way. But it's super accurate. It hits, and like I said, I've had agents that have had great success with that over the last even 2 months. I've only been using this program, to be honest with you, and we've only exposed it maybe the last 3 or 4 months, but it's really been a game changer for a couple of agents, to be honest.
And I see you have some Spanish stuff going on here as well, right?
Yep. English and Spanish.
Nice. I like that.
Yep. Yep. So
Especially since we have over 60% transactions being done with the Hispanic community. So it's a
sure.
powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So other than that on this, there's other ways, other couple things on the outputs, right? If you want to download it to your CRM, do you use a CRM, Roberto?
Yes,
Which
KV
one?
Corp.
Okay, KV Core. You can download direct to KV Core, right?
Hmm.
Or many others. Third party printers, marketers, different things like that, you can. Or if you just want to email it, print labels, print reports, merge letters on here. There's really a whole plethora of things that we could do individually, and we can go ahead and get into that either individually or with a couple groups that want to explore some different ways to be able to source the outputs. But the main information, right, is going to be within the polygon or the subdivisions within this farm, and then also within these little avenues right here. Most importantly, probably the hot movers, right? So just keep that in mind. And I hope that what we were talking about today, even this and moving forward, just spurn some thought, right? That's the whole goal, is just to be able to spurn thought on how you can take advantage of this program and the next two that I'm going to show you, to work it to your advantage, right? Because ultimately my job in title and escrow is to expose and educate people on the title and escrow process. But even more importantly, my goal, and I've been doing this for almost 20 years, my goal as a rep, to be very candid with you, is to give you information that's going to allow you to take and get out there and do what you do best, and have conversations with consumers and homeowners about real estate, so that you can become part of their journey, right? And so you can create those long lasting relationships with those people, do transactions with them, and then capitalize on that transaction and get 2, 3, 4, 5 referrals down the road. So that is really my number one goal in my role here at WFG as a salesperson, and that's to provide you accurate, great information that you can take out there and capitalize on. So that's WFG Flash Farms. Is there any questions that anybody might have? I can't see if there's any questions or We good?
If you guys have any questions, chime in or put it in the chat box. We can answer them as we go.
Yeah, for sure. So that's that one. And just remember, like I said, we can go ahead and sign everybody up on that. Whoever wants to get signed up, let Roberto know or shoot me some information directly. And I'll get you set up and we can do a one-on-one. We could have a meeting, whatever it may be, to be able to go over and really kind of customize your farm within the Flash Farm program. So the next program I'm going to show you is going to be Cole Realty Resource. This is not something that I can set you up with, but it's something that I have access to that I'm happy to provide information. This, to be very candid with you, is something is kind of a little bit of a gray area because this program provides some information, right? We can get down on income and equity within here, but it really provides contact information to people in a number of different ways, whether they're homeowners or renters. And I'll show you a couple different ways that it does that. Can you give me a zip code in series? Oh, put me out.
I see 95367.
Or just any zip code, it doesn't matter. 95367. Okay, let's use it. So in here, what we would be doing, or if we wanted to do circle prospecting, you could put your just listed or just sold address in here, even just by street name. If you notice down here, it says confirmed homeowner. Are we on there? Is that good? 95367?
Series is 307.
Okay. So we always want confirmed homeowners, right? Because we don't want to market to people that were there. Within this program, you can also identify very little, to be very honest with you. Square footage of the property, length of residence, if you want a specific subdivision, if you want to type in how much they owe, how much they make, or their credit score, which is both good things, or if they're an absentee owner, right? Typically, this is more for saturating an area, circle prospecting, really marketing either a city or a subdivision, something like that, right? So we come down here and we see email, phones, or a full list. Unfortunately, this program does make you prioritize what you want to do. So if you'd like to email over the number, you have to choose one of these, right? Typically, people will want cell numbers, right? So you'll click phones. They do have a phone number. If there's an email available, the email will show up as well, as you'll see. But it does have to prioritize one or the other. Go ahead. Let's let this come up and we'll just take a look at the zip code and we'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. And then I'll move into the renter one. My internet wants to work with us. Come on, baby.
It's getting there.
I was thinking, must be a lot of data within that zip code. I don't know. Okay, here we go. So gives us 4,000 records.
Wow.
If you notice, it'll even give you the PO box, but if we scroll down and get into really the meat and potatoes of it, it'll go by street and give you the owner's name, address, and then the first one I know is home phone, right? This one is cell phone, and then email addresses. So, like I said, not a lot of demographic crunching that you can do with this program, but for sheer contact, circle prospecting, things like that around listing just sold, it's really amazing. It gives you some really great information. These numbers are scrubbed, but they always recommend that you go through and scrub them yourself as well, and I would recommend that as well. On all the programs that I show you with phone numbers, the numbers are scrubbed, but there is a recommendation that you go through and scrub them as well. But really good information. And these are all homeowners. Go ahead.
With that, John, most CRMs have a built-in kind of safety feature, if you would, where you have that opt out if you're going to be spamming people. not that we do, but if you're sending out emails and all that, if you have that opt-out feature, then you're pretty safe. That way people can just say, leave me alone, and you're good. Phone
Right,
numbers, a little bit tricky, but yeah,
right.
be careful with that.
The second part of this program that's really, really good is the renter side, because there's not a lot of times that you get renter information. Typically, if you want to market to renters, you can figure out what properties are being rented, but there's not a lot of names behind them or information. When it comes to apartment complexes, there's never names or apartment units that are kind of come hand in hand with that. It's almost impossible to market to apartment complexes, right? Even getting around walking, because you're gonna have the leasing agent coming behind you telling you to get the hell out of there, right? They don't want you marketing to their people. They don't want people to leave their properties. They want them to stay there forever. This program does have the opportunity to do that. So if you do have, let's just say, an apartment complex that you know people are paying a very, very high amount, you could get them into a house and to pay, and have them pay almost the same amount that they're paying right now in rent. That might be a great opportunity to target, to be able to get some marketing with, to team up with a lender, right? With, and say, hey, listen, I want to target these people that are paying 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 a month in this apartment. We want to get them pre-qualified and get them into a house. Hey, let's do some marketing together. This program will allow you to do it. So I'm going to pull up Stockton, and let's just say apartment renters, right? And let's just search. Oh, I need to stay.
You know what I think would be good here if somebody did the people that are renting in the Bay Area
Right.
and let them know that they can, because a lot of people migrate from Bay Area to Central Valley because of that, because
Right.
their renting is, I mean, the rent is through the roof. They're renting out there, and they can purchase the same amount, same price, and have a beautiful home here instead of renting a 2-1 or a 3-1. They can buy
Absolutely.
it to 4-2 or a 5-3.
Absolutely. And we see that migration from the Bay Area all the time, right? I mean, they're selling those properties out there. I mean, I grew up in Castro Valley. My mom still sells real estate out there. She's a broker. She's got ready to retire, but she's been doing it for 40 years. She's got properties where I live in Castro Valley that are, 1.8, 1.9 million. These houses that are built in the, 40s and 50s. These people are selling those and coming out this way, right? That's why you see, Modesto, Ceres, Tracy, Mountain House, Lathrop, Manteca, those areas are thriving, even up into Stockton here where my, main office is. A ton of people that are coming out and doing, either multifamily or coming out and buying something brand new, right? For significantly less. So,
Yeah.
so here's the apartments in 95219, which is kind of the March Lane area over here in Stockton. So gives you the actual renter, their address, their apartment number. Sometimes it will give you the information on cell and phone numbers isn't as plentiful on this, just to be very honest with you, but we'll give you some home phone and some cell phone numbers, email addresses, and then sometimes length of residence within that unit, right? We could do the same thing if I would have just clicked homeowners. It would have done the same thing. Obviously, there just wouldn't be these apartment numbers and things like that, but it would be the address. It would have their name, and it would have any contact information and the length of residence as well. So another good marketing tool that you're not going to find really anywhere, and you're not going to have the opportunity to market to these types of people unless you really, really get into this at Cole. And that's really the two things within this program that are really, really good. Like I said, the homeowners, or I'm sorry, the house renters is another good one, but information comes up very similar to this, so I don't think we need to go through that. Do you?
No, you're good.
Cool. All right. And then let's move into Property Radar. You guys may be familiar with Property Radar. Property Radar really allows you to target exactly who you're trying to target, right? So if we look at this over here, basically what I do when I build a farm is I'll come through, pick my location. I'll pick the type of property. If I really want to narrow it down, I can come down and look at structure details, rooms, stories, fireplace, air conditioning, all of that stuff. If it's got a pool, all of that, and just start building my list that way. When it gets into owner, we can figure if they have a mobile phone, email, how old they are, they're married, if it's an owner occupied property, they live in the same county, state, if they own multiple properties, right? That's another thing that's really, really big. Someone that may own, 5 or more single family properties, right? Maybe they're looking to add to their portfolio right now. Those are people that we definitely want to have relationships with, right? Even goes into demographics, ethnicity, language, income, net worth, occupation group, doctors, lawyers, different things like that. If they're a business owner, it comes down into all sorts of really, really good demographic information that I think is very, very valuable. So, and then also it has foreclosure information, equity, right? If we want to figure out how much equity they have. So I did run a little farm that I'll pull up, and it was what we talked about earlier with kind of the baby boomers, right? So I just ran series. And if you'll notice when this comes up, right above where it says series sample, it's going to load all the properties that I've kind of identified, but then it'll also give you the criteria come up, and it's not popping up now because I got it blocked. So let me go back and I'll show you this way. Let's do it this way. Okay, that should work for us. So on this farm right here that I pulled, right, I tried to pull people that are 60 years older, right, in series, single family homes, 2-story, owner occupied. There's a 60 plus. Estimated equity, 60+% equity. Purchase date before 2008. So they've been in their property for at least 15 years, right? I also pulled phone and email on this. So within series, people that have a mobile phone number and email, 60% equity, if they're 60 plus, they live in their property 15 years, 124, right? Cool thing about this program as well is if we wanted to come in here and change this equity and we wanted to say, hey, we want 50% equity and update it, it's going to update it right in front of us, right? So that 124 is probably going to jump up, right? So now it's 149. So that's the one thing I really love about this program is as you're building it, it's going to tell you how many records. And I can tell you from over the last year of what I've seen happen in this industry. This farm right here at 149, at 50% equity, where we're at, is a great farm, right? But there's a number of other farms within this program that we can also create and tailor for you depending on what you see happening in your area, who you want to really go after. But again, the reason I really love this farm is just the ability to be able to modify, right? Modify and manipulate this type of information over here and then really, really target. I don't think there's anything wrong with marketing ourselves to a full subdivision. It may take longer to get some traction within there, right? It says typically if you're going to market to a subdivision, it's going to take you 6 months, maybe to get some traction with people and try to get some business in there. I'm a big proponent of target marketing, right? Going after somebody specific. And this market right here of 60 plus or 65 plus with a lot of equity, maybe 2-story that they've been in their property 10, 20 years is a really, really great farm to have. In addition to, like we talked about just a couple minutes ago, right? These people that own multiple properties that may be looking to add to their portfolio right now because you're seeing investors come out, right? They're buying properties, they're outbidding people and they're dropping cash on them. So this program is available, something that I can go over with you, either come to the office, sit down with a group, or do it individually, do it on Zoom. We can meet for coffee, whatever it is. Like I said, my goal is just to provide you all with information to be able to get you out there and get more business. So any questions on this one?
Any questions, guys? I don't see anything in the chat.
John, what's the cost for both of the other programs aside from the one that you offer?
You know what, Cole, I think is about 1,500 a year, and Property Radar is about 1,000 a year.
And is that something you can share with multiple users, John. Not sure if it's
You mean as far as the password and stuff?
yeah.
Yeah, I cannot. Yeah, I can't do
I'm
that.
not saying you. I'm saying like if I bought it with my office,
Sure. Yeah. They do. They are pretty stringent with the one login at a time. The cool thing about Property Radar, everyone could go on Property Radar right now and get a 3-day trial for free, and you can actually download as much information as you possibly can within those 3 days for free. So I would recommend that if you're thinking about that program, get on there, get that free 3-day trial, download as much as you possibly can. They may not do the phone numbers and emails. They may charge you for that, but it's nominal. I mean, it's like 6 cents a phone number, and I think very similar for emails. But I would recommend doing that.
here's the thing. I've set up a few farms already, and it's not that expensive. You just have to kind of be strategic about it. And like, we were talking about at the beginning, be realistic on how much you want to take on. Like if you did the 3 days with Property Radar, kind of go into it not backwards, but know how much you're going to get out of it. Go in, extract the information, and then get to work.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're going to be in these systems all the time. You want to go in there, get your farm, and then put them on autopilot. Start
Yeah.
sending them information, follow up, and be consistent.
Yeah. You're right, man. But what you said earlier is absolutely right. Right. If you start with a farm of 200-300-ish, something like that, I think the problem when you start too big is you have these grand ideas to be able to do all these things, and then you know what, you have other things going on. You have transactions, you have clients, you're showing property, you're putting out fires, you're having 9 o'clock conversations with people and things like that, right? And then it gets away from you. So you do it for a couple of months, you spend tremendous amount of money out of your pocket, and then all of a sudden you get real busy and you don't do it for 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden you're starting from ground zero again. So if you start with something that's manageable and grow it and then kind of see the fruits of it, so it's a little bit easier to manage, right? Because the majority of our business comes from, right, our sphere of influence, our friends and family, and our referral network, right, as it should. But if we can add in some other ways that we can create 5 to 10 deals a year from doing some niche kind of target marketing, all the better.
Yeah, and something I heard from another agent a while back, he said, pick two farms. One is going to be like your bread and butter, where there's a high turnover rate. Make sure it's not too far from where you live, but that's where you're going to really market to that specific area. And another one that was kind of interesting when he said, pick an area where you want to live, not necessarily where you live now, but like where your dream home is at, and get familiar with it. That's going to be kind of the higher end, different type, and don't go too big on that one either, but get familiar with that. Have two different farms. One of the biggest things with the farms guys, you have to nurture it. That's why we're talking about make sure it's manageable. If you send something out the first time, the second, the third time, you might not get nothing out of it. They might not respond. But I guarantee you, if you're consistent after the fourth or fifth or sixth time, you're going to start to see some sort of traction. It'll just kind of snowball after that. Something else is you have to kind of be careful what you're sending out. Make sure it's something of value. I've done the door knocking and all that, and I sometimes the marketing overlaps with another agent that's already kind of marketing that area, and it's easy to run into pieces that say, "Hey, I can help you buy or sell property," or "These are the properties I have sold in your area," or "This is somewhat what your home is worth." Let me tell you, technology has put all that information on everybody's lap. Literally, they can go on Zillow, put in an address, this is what your property is worth. So they have that already. So let's think out of the box. Let's bring something of value, but something that can be like, oh, wow, this is actually interesting. This is something I want to really, or something I appreciate having come to my doorstep. What that is, I think that's the challenge that we all face. Like, what can we take of value? Right now, we have the holiday seasons coming up. October, November, December, January. Those are 4 months. You can drop something a little bit out of the box, and they're gonna be like, oh, this is nice. It's not just, yeah, we need more homes on the market. I can help you sell because, here's one that sold down the street. So keep that in mind. A few other things that I took notes on, guys. There's the out of state sellers, the people that own the homes that are out of state. Those are people that are a little bit more motivated once the tenant moves out. Once they've damaged the property, they've already rehabbed it. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna make that much off it. Can I sell it? 1031. There's so much they can do with it. The absentee owners. I was gonna ask a question, John. Divorce, is that something that these systems can kind of sift through as well, or no?
Yeah, yeah. On the flash farms, it does come up with divorces. There is another tool out there that is probably a little bit faster than the flash farms, just to be honest. It's a paid source. It's called Revo Gateway, right? And so it'll give you, yeah, so that'll give you the divorce information as well as some other life event information. I think it's $3.99 a year. You can get on that. But the cool thing is, with the divorces specifically on that one, it gives you, both parties and then the property that they own as well.
Yeah, and with divorce situations, there's ways you guys can get certified to be a divorce specialist, trust. I mean, there's different things you can, or classes you can take to be certified in military, elder, buyer, listing, probate certified, where you can actually market to the world that you're certified in that type of situation transaction. I know we had the short sale certified, all kinds of stuff, and it's a certificate that you get. Any other questions, guys? This is great information. No questions. Going once, going twice. If you guys want to set up a farm, let me know. I can give you John's information. We can set something up where we can bring our laptops and actually do it in person and walk away with a farm already.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Roberto.
Awesome. Well, John, thanks a lot, guys. Get your farms, work them. Don't give up. Right now is the time to really get in there and get your numbers up, because if we don't make those contacts with clients as we're heading into this winter and the market's starting to shift a little bit more, it's going to be tough. So go out there, go get them, guys. I'm working on really quick. I'm working on getting one of the sales rep for HomeBot. HomeBot is a software that you can sign up your clients to receive a monthly email, and it gives them information on their equity and their options that they have, whether they want to refi, pull money out, and do all kinds of different things, how to pay their mortgage down faster. And it's pretty neat. I've been doing it for, I have to say, like 7 or 8 months. And it's the same thing as a farm. You sign your clients up, and they're not going to call you the next day or the next month, say, hey, I want to. It takes time, but I'm starting to get people hit me up saying, hey, is it time for me to sell my home? Because in that email, it tells them you have 350 worth of equity, and you bought it, in 1990 something for 150,000. It's worth 500 and something. You have, 300,000-400,000 in equity. So they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know this. But it's coming straight to their email. You're not harassing them. You're not knocking on their door. You're not calling them. It's landing in their email every month. So I'm working on that person. It's a gal. I met her at Monterey. She's going to be here in the next couple of weeks. I'll keep you guys posted, give you a heads up. But John, great information. We'll be talking as we're working our farms a little bit more, and we're growing them slowly. But guys, no more questions. John, thank you. Good to see all you guys. Mike, Maria, Angie, Alvaro, Cristina, thanks. Pedro, Diana, Melissa, Guadalupe, Leo, good to see you again. Veronica, Pablo, you guys need an attorney. Pablo's here. He's awesome at what he does. Trust me, he's good.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank you, buddy.
guys. See you guys next time. Take care.
Right
Get
on.
some work.
Bye-bye.